Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pick-me-up tag for the guys. Now this particular one I made for Father's Day, and you can see the little envelope in the back. This fits a gift card perfectly. You can place a coffee stick in here or two, tea bags, any type of flat chocolate, such as the Ghirardelli chocolate squares or the flat Hershey miniature chocolates, tea bags, anything that you would like to put in here. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I put all of this together. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is my extra large tag pattern, and I'll put that link down below in the Show More drop-down bar below the video, as well as on my blog, and you can just print this out for free. So I'm just going to rough cut one of the tags out. Just like this. Okay. And I have some double-sided Scotch tape, and I just take a piece of that, and it doesn't actually have to be that big. I'll just stick it right here, just so it won't move around while I'm cutting. And I'm just going to rough cut this as well. I just don't like a whole lot of extra paper or cardboard hanging off when I'm trying to cut it. So I'm just going to cut right on the lines. And the cardboard I'm using is from a Capri Sun juice box. I like to work with the heavier boxes. You can use cereal boxes, but you'll have to glue 2 or 3 of them together. And then across the bottom here, like so. And then I'm going to punch out that little hole with my hole puncher. Just like that. And just take this off. You have your little tag. Okay. Now you can use any plain piece of scrapbooking paper on this, but I like to use the brown craft paper, and you can buy this by the roll at the Dollar Tree, and it's a tall roll, and it's found where the shipping supplies are and sometimes where the gift wrap section is. And basically this is just paper that you use to ship your boxes in. And it comes in a nice tall roll. And there's quite a bit on there, but I don't know exactly how many yards because I bought this and then I threw away the packaging. So I'm just going to cut a piece off the piece that I cut off. Does that make sense? And I'm going to crumble it. Just like you're wadding up a piece of trash. And I'm going to open it up again. And if you don't have the craft paper, you can do this with the regular lunch sacks, you know, the brown paper lunch bags that you buy at the store. And I'm going to do this about 3 or 4 times. And this will give it some texture. think I'll do it one more time. And it also kind of breaks the fibers up and it becomes a lot softer and more pliable the more you do this. And I'm really going to wad it up there. Okay. Smooth it out. I think that looks pretty good, like that. So I'm going to take my tag, and I should get a paper towel here first. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Forgot my paper towel. And I'm using the Elmer's Craft Bond glue in extra strength. And I found this at Walmart. And I'm going to put quite a bit on here, and I'm really going to pay special attention to the edges. Just like so. I'm going to put quite a bit on here because I want it to really stick. Okay, so now I'm just going to lay this paper on here and do this. Make sure it's on there. Now generally I would suggest to just leave this on here until it dries, but I don't want to take that time because I want to continue showing you. So I'm going to save this part for the back, and I'm just going to lay my blades right against the cardboard and just cut. Just like so. Okay. And then I'm going to punch that hole again, like so. Okay. So this is the front of the tag, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Take some of this Elmer's Craft Bond glue, and I'm going to put quite a bit of it on, paying special attention to the edges. I'm going to put a lot on, generous, very generous with this. Okay. And I'm going to take this paper and press down like so. Right on the edges. I got this little thing stuck to my finger. And it doesn't want to come off. There we go. So just like this. And just continue cutting just like I showed you on the front. There. And then of course we have to punch that again. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Like so. And if you need a little help, you can just do that. I'm not too worried about any of this part hanging off there because I'm going to be placing a little eyelet in there, just like I do on all of my tags. I'm pressing the edges down, making sure everything is nice and tight. And if you want to come back in and trim it up a little bit, a hair, you can. Just a hair there. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now normally I would tell you to just let it sit for an hour or so and let it dry a little, but I'm just going to continue with this tag. Now you've seen me use this in my other Pick Me Up tag videos, and this is my little eyelet setter with my bag of eyelets. I've already used quite a bit from this bag. I'm going to choose a gold one, and I did buy the eyelet setter with the bag of eyelets at Harbor Freight, and I think I paid like $4.85 or $4.95 for it, and that's normal price. That's not when it's on sale. Okay, so I have to decide which one I want to make the front, so I'm going to make this one the front. So I'm just going to slip my little eyelet through, right, just like that. I'm going to hold it and turn it over. This is just the way I like doing it. And you see this little knob? You're going to place it inside this brad, and I take two hands and I squeeze very hard, like that. And see, it's fine, it doesn't move around. If it moves around a little bit, just go back in with this and give it another squeeze. But this looks fine, and I really think that these little eyelets make your tags look more polished. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm using an 18 karat gold leafing pen by Krylon. You can get this at any craft store. I would suggest using a coupon when you buy this, and that way it'll cost you a lot less. Or you can use a metallic paint pen. Just going to shake it up a little. And I'm going to take one of my little paper scraps here that I cut off, just to get it started, pump it up a little. And I'm going to do this slowly, just around the edge, like this. Don't want to go too fast. I've gone too fast before when I was rushing things, and I ended up sliding right across the tag. I'd get so upset at myself. But it's best if you let the tag dry before you do this. And if you don't have any metallic pens, you can take a stamp pad and just kind of do this along the edges, a black one or a brown one, dark brown. There we go. See, it has like a little metallic edge. I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the back part. I had someone ask me in my previous video, how do you make such straight lines along the edge? It's not me making the straight lines, it's the pen. I'm just laying the pen on the edge and just running it down, like so. If it was up to me to make this a straight line, I can tell you what this would look like. I see I have to glue that edge down a little bit. I'll do that when I finish this. And like I said, it's best to let this dry first. Okay, So this looks pretty nice. And you're going to want to let it dry a little. And I use my little... And see, this is why you should probably let it dry first before you do any of the edges. There we go. Now it's nice and stuck. Okay. Alright, so here's the front, and now we are on to the next part. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use some Aleene's Fast Grab Tacky Glue. And this is just a little sample glue bottle. You can also use the Tombow Aqua Liquid Glue if you'd like. And I have a couple of pieces of grosgrain ribbon I pulled out of my stash. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of this on here. There we go. Doesn't need a ton, just enough to make it stick. And just kind of move the glue around with a nozzle. Okay. And then just lay it right here in the middle of the brown one. Just spread it out with your fingers. And this should dry fairly quickly. Just let it sit for a little while, and then we'll come in and we'll glue this on our tag. And you can put it any way you want, this way, this way. I think today I'm going to glue it like this, diagonally across the tag. So we're going to pretend that this is already dry. And I'm going to use a little more of this Fast Grab Tacky Glue on the back. Alrighty. I probably didn't need to put it to the very end because that's going to hang over in the tag. I'm just going to place it like so. And I'll definitely let this dry, and as soon as it's dry, we'll come back in and trim it up on the corners, okay? Okay, so this is dried well enough for me to cut now. And I'm just going to lay my scissors along the side, like so. And then turn it over in the back again and cut it like so. Make sure that I get it right here at the bottom. Okay. And so we have a nice, neat little stripe that's diagonal now. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place this King of Hearts playing card on here. And you can pick up a box of these playing cards at the Dollar Tree. Now, I'm going to lay it down here in the middle. Then I'm going to take a couple of these caps that I made out of brads, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. It's very easy. And I just want to lay them one on each side just so I can kind of figure where to place my card, because I don't want my card to go too far to the right or too far to the left. I want to be able to fit these little brad caps on each side, and I want it to look nice and even. And I also want to leave space to be able to put some brads down below. So this looks pretty good. Right about here. Yeah. So I think the card will look nice right about here. So, I'm going to brush those little caps away. And I'm still holding on to my card. And I'm just going to put a little dot of hot glue in the corner. I'm going to press that down and kind of hold it there. Just for a second, so the card doesn't slide around. Okay. I'm going to come back in and put a little dot right here. And put a little dot right here. And then right here. Just like so. And I'm just going to give that a second or two to adhere. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Alright, so this part was really easy. I bought some gold brads, and they have them in silver too, but I figured since I outlined this in gold that I would use the gold brads. And I've seen gold brads before at the Dollar Tree, but they don't always have them. A lot of times it's the silver, but they do carry the gold brads at other places like Walmart. Now this is just a pair of heavy-duty wire cutters, and I've had these now for a little while. And I'm just going to cut these off. And honestly, with these heavy-duty wire cutters, they cut really easily. And so I cut quite a few. And you might have the back part poking out a little. You can take like a piece of wood or something and just kind of press it down, and it should work to kind of flatten it. Or you can take a pair of flat nose pliers and give it a little squeeze. It doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here in the corner of the tag and place one there. And I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to do it. And this is one of these detail hot glue guns, so I can make fairly small dots on these. Now if you're planning on doing this and you have a larger hot glue gun, I would highly recommend the low setting. See, I can make some pretty small dots. And I'm going to place this right here on this side. And we'll count the brads to see how many I needed. And then I'm going to place a brad right here in the very corner, and then a brad in the other corner. And that way, if you start with the corners, then generally you can line these up fairly even without doing a lot of measuring and marking. And then I'm going to place this one in the top corner here, like so. here. Okay. See, so we have these marked off, or used as markers, I should say. So now you can come in and you can just kind of place these to see how many you'll need and about where you'll need them. Like so. Just kind of line them up. So I think that looks good. So we used about 7 on the side here, and we'll do the same thing on that side. So, but I'll just go ahead and pick these up, the ones we laid down. And then just place it down like that. These are very easy to do. But this will look really nice when you're finished. You could make these little Father's Day cards for the men in your church or organization. And you can put a couple of instant coffee sticks in the back. You can put tea bags, any kind of flat chocolate like a Ghirardelli chocolate or Hershey miniatures. Now, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and then I'm going to come back. Now this side was very easy to do because once I lined this up, then I just looked across to see where to place them. So I'm just going to continue doing a couple more up here, a couple more at the bottom, and then that part of it should be finished. Put that right here in the middle. There. There. And then at the bottom, let's see how many we'll actually need. Yeah, maybe just these 3. Here and then here, like so. Okay, this is it. I'm just kind of wiping off a little bit of the little strings, hot glue strings. Okay. All right. So the next thing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our little saying on here, and I just put Happy Father's Day with love, and I used the chocolate covered raindrops font in size 28. Now, when I make my pick-me-up cards and I use the little note cards from the Dollar Tree, I like to save the part that I don't use because it really comes in handy when creating these little sayings. And so what you're going to need is you're going to need your Elmer's Craft Bond glue again, and you're just going to put some glue on the back here. You're going to stick it to this, like so, and allow this to dry for about 20 minutes or so, half hour, and then come back to it, and then we'll cut it out. We'll make a little cloud. Okay, so our little saying has dried. So I'm just going to kind of rough cut this out. And then I'm just going to make a little cloud-like shape around the words just by kind of going in and out here. It's supposed to look like that. Okay. So now we have what looks like this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little edge on that. Just around like this, because I just really think it makes it look so much nicer. And I'm being careful not to get my fingers in this because I want it to dry before I go on to the next step. I want it to thoroughly dry. So I'm just going to drop this down here and give it about 10 or 15 minutes to dry, probably closer to 15, and then we'll do the next part. Okay, so this is dry, and I took a little piece of the foam mounting tape here that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to turn this upside down and just cut this into 3 little pieces. And I'm going to put the mounting tape on like this. Peel off just the back side and then stick it on. And then one in the middle. Like so. So now I'm just going to peel off this part of the tape and then just place it on the tag. Like so. I think I'm going to put it right about here. Yeah. So I'll just press down a little bit, like so. Now we're not finished yet. Like a little mark on there. I don't know where that came from. Okay. I have some buttons. You don't have to do this part, but I just thought it would look nice. And I just decided I was going to place these buttons kind of like this. I don't know whether to put this one up here or just leave it alone. Or maybe like this, something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. I think maybe like that. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. I kind of like it like that in a quarter. Yeah, maybe I'll do it that way. So I'm just going to put a little hot glue around the holes because I don't want it to seep through the holes. You don't need much to make it stick. There we go. I want to make sure that, there we go. One thing nice about these cards are that they're laminated, of course, and so the hot glue kind of comes off fairly easy if you accidentally get any strings on there or kind of loose. There we go. Alright. So we have this so far. Now we're going to come back in and do something else with this tag here. I have my triple thick, and I'm going to grab a toothpick here. Well, actually, instead of a toothpick, I'm just going to grab a very, let's see, a very small makeup or eyeshadow type brush. And dip it in the triple thick. And just kind of dot it. Like so. I'm just dotting it. I'm not rubbing it. Then at the very end I'll kind of spread it out. Okay. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I don't want to keep brushing and brushing and brushing over the letters and paint until I eventually rub it off. Don't want to do that. So I'm just kind of dotting it. And when this dries, it will dry like clear glass, and it's really pretty, and it gives it dimension. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to allow this just to dry on its own, and then we'll come back and we'll add a little ribbon or something like that at the top. But I want this to thoroughly dry first. And then we'll be finished. Well, almost finished. We still have to put a little coin envelope on the back, and that way we can place gift cards in there or any other type of pick-me-up item. So we'll be back. Okay, so as you can tell, this is dried and it's left a glossy effect on it. And so now I'm just going to put in some string. So I decided to use this red and white baker's twine. And I cut a fairly long length of this because if you want to hang it somewhere to surprise someone, then you can do that, like on a doorknob or wherever you'd like. And I'm just going to do that. And see, then this is what you have. And so the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a coin envelope in the back. Now you can use the craft coin envelopes if you want. They sell them on Amazon, or you can print out the pattern that I made for you, and I'll put that below in the Show More drop-down bar as well as on my blog. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to rough cut this like so. Because as you know, I like cutting out items with the least paper like this hanging from it. And this is just some more of our brown craft paper that we used. And so I'm just going to tape this pattern on here, and don't need a whole lot of tape. Probably don't even need that much. And that way it'll stick as I am trying to cut it. So I'm going to rough cut this too. Get rid of this, and then I'll just have this to cut out. And this is easy. Just cut that on the lines. And we're almost there. Cut this off. And this little bit here. And there you go. So now you can just take this off and throw all that away. And just fold this up like so. Right here. Like that. And then this will be the bottom flap. And this will be the top flap. And if you decide you want to put a gift card in here, you can just take a piece of the double-sided tape right here and just close it like that. You can also put like a couple of sticks of instant coffee in here if you're wanting to make these cards to just pass out to various fathers, like maybe in your church or club or something like that. And so all I do is take my Craft Bond Extra Strength stick here by Eimers, and I'm just going to run it with the side of my glue stick right along the edge here. And I'm going to close that. Oops. I could actually fold this over a little more. There we go. There we go. And I'm just going to stick it down. And then just do this bottom flap. Like that. And I'm going to even this up a little bit by trimming this up. There we go. So you have this. So you got your little snap coin envelope now. And so now I'm just going to rub glue on the back. Now you can also take the double-sided tape if you want and put the double-sided tape on the back of this and that would be just fine. I'm putting quite a bit on because I want it to really stick. And you just put it on the back like this. And just give it time to dry, of course. And then once it dries, then you can start filling it. But don't try, filling it when it hasn't dried yet, because it'll just pull up when you put your finger in there. Okay, and then, of course, like I said, you could put a little piece of double-sided tape there to close it if you want it closed. If you don't want it closed, you can move this down a little further, like so, right at the end, right at the bottom part, and then that way you can just keep it open and you can put in a couple of coffee sticks or something like that, or tea bags or anything you'd like. So that's pretty much it, and it was very easy. It was very simple. It absolutely did not cost a lot to make, and so you might enjoy this. Make them up ahead of time, and you have them all set, all ready to go for Father's Day. So you take care, and thank you so much for sticking with me, and God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.